It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hello and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and it's the holiday season. This is our special edition for the Northwoods Cooking Show. We've been doing a lot of Christmas episodes, and now we're adding another one. And today we're going to be doing Swedish Christmas. We're going to be making a Swedish potato sausage with dumplings and sauerkraut. So we're going to throw a little of my German in there too. And then we're going to be doing a, what was the other one? Oh, we're going to be making some oyster stew. That was my father's favorite. It was like Christmas Eve. He always had to have his oyster stew. I know as kids we hated it. Oh, that gritty, grind of the oysters. I just, But now as we go into adult, it's like, that tastes pretty good. And I'm going to doctor it up just a little bit different too and give it a little twist of Roy into it to make it taste even better. So first I got to introduce, oh, where is she? I gotta go get her first. And so first I got to introduce you to my co-hostess, Miss Callie and I herself, Santa's helper. Oh, Callie. Oh, come here. Santa's helper. Oh. Come here. I think she went on a dry run with Rudolph last night. She came a little tired. Look at her. You can barely make it. Come here. Oh. That's just water boiling. Not to be scared. Come here. Treat. Sit. Say hello to everybody. Hello and Merry Christmas. Yeah. Oh. You're just getting too tired. You couldn't even get up. You couldn't even sit up, don't you? Oh. Anyway, let's get on with the recipes. So first of all, we're going to be making the dumplings. In the frying pan right here now, I've got my water boiling in a large frying pan. That's going good. And I'm going to put in my Swedish potato sausage. This stuff is so good. Now, many places have it only at Christmas time. That's about the only time you can get it around here. And I get mine at Super Value here in Crystal, which makes a wonderful, it's the best potato sausage I've tasted. Cub has them, Rainbow has them, but they just don't have that great flavor. This guy at Super Value makes a wonderful potato sausage. And if you call ahead of there, I think you can order some. I'm not quite positive on that, it depends. Because sometimes he makes them and sometimes he don't. Last year he didn't, he couldn't find the casings. So when he made it this year, I bought 10 packages. I saw it in the freezer, I grabbed them. This is really good. And you can also take it after you boil it off, you can just slice it into little discs and put them on like Ritz crackers or saltine crackers as an appetizer too. That's really good too. So now in our food process, we're going to make the dumplings. We need 1.5 cups of flour. And like I said, always take and level those off. We don't want to have really dry dumplings. And this all goes in the food processor. And then we also add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's going to give it nice and fluffy. And on top of that, we need 3/4 teaspoons of the kosher salt. Half and 1/4, mix 3/4. And then we're going to take and just buzz this up to mix the ingredients in together. It's very easy to make. And then to this, we need 3 tablespoons of cold shortening. And we're going to take and just buzz this up together until it resembles like a coarse cornmeal, just like we're making our pie crust. And that's all finely mixed together. And then we put this into a bowl. And to this, we're going to be adding 3/4 cup of milk. And this goes all right into the bowl. Now, dumplings are considered a quick bread in the recipe cookbook section. So like if we're all quick breads, you just want to mix it up until it's moistened. You don't want to over mix and activate that gluten. It's just like making muffins or banana bread, etc. You just want to mix it until it's moist. And that's that. Very easy. Now, let's see, what did I do with it, Callie? Here it is. To the pot of the potato sausage. We're going to be adding 1 can of the sauerkraut. Now, depending on your personal preference, you can add like caraway seed or celery seed or mustard seed to it to make it more German if you'd like. I'm going to leave it just plain because the Swedish is more, basically it's like salt and pepper. You know, that's about all we do. Growing up, I know Mom cooking for Dad, her side of the family was Norwegian and his side was German, but he didn't like any spices either. You know, we were lucky if we could get salt and pepper. That was about it. You know, no garlic. Oh, God forbid, garlic. Oh, Lord, he'd go through the ceiling. So as soon as I moved out of the house, I discovered spices, and I just go to town on everything. Oh, I just love spices. We always had bland cooking. Oh, Ma didn't like it either. She'd rather cook with a lot of spices too. So as soon as he passed away, then she started throwing spices into everything. So anyway, now we got the sauerkraut, so now we're going to do the dumplings. We want to bring this back to a boil, and we're going to take and do our dumplings right with the same spoon. I had used a metal spoon. Just dip it into the hot water. And then just spoon up a portion of the batter. And now this goes right into the water, and we're going around the ring of sausage. And we got the sauerkraut in the center. And then we're going to boil this uncovered for 10 minutes. And then we're going to take and put the cover on and boil it for another 10 minutes. So just make sure you get all that great. I just love these dumplings just by themselves. Oh, God, they're so good. You can even do smaller ones if you wanted to too, and do like egg drop dumplings for, you know, your chicken soups or beef noodles, beef and dumpling soups, whatever. It's a great recipe. So we'll just let this come to a boil, and we'll boil 10 minutes, then we'll put the cover on and let it boil for another 10 minutes. And then we'll be done with our Swedish potato sausage. Wonderful Christmas time dinner. Okay, now while the dumplings are covered, they're on their last 10 minutes, they should be done here any minute now. We're going to make our oyster stew. Now we're heating up the pot. I'm going to put in a quarter stick of butter. We want to melt this down and make a roux. And to that, I want to add, I just have 1 stalk of celery. Now traditionally it's made just as cream soup without vegetables. But I'm going to take and dice up a little bit of celery. And I'm going to put in a little bit of onion too, just to give it some flavor and a little vegetable. I'm not going to put the carrot in because I don't need the color. I just want the flavor of the celery and onion because, like I said, traditionally it's just a plain cream soup. And then okay, the dumplings are done. I can just turn that off. And I just got a tiny small onion here. Like I said, this recipe too is like one of those, as little or as much as you want to put in. Just adjust it to your personal taste. And this is very simple to make. This is just like making a roux, is what I'm going to be doing. But I want to saute these onions and celery first so they're not hard and crunchy. We want them a little to sweat and to get a little tender. And you could dice this up real tiny, you don't have to. I just got it in small pieces, I'm not mincing it. And I'll put that in with the butter too. And then we'll just cook these down until they're soft and tender. You don't want it on a high because you don't want to burn that butter. But you want to use butter because that's the flavor that we're going to get. Now, this is my father's favorite. He had to have this every Christmas Eve. I always wondered, it never dawned on me until after I left the house why you had to have it on Christmas Eve. And I never knew that it was a Norwegian tradition. I just learned that one after I moved out of the house. And so then we have 1 can of oysters, and don't drain the juices out. Leave the juices in there because you want to have that flavor. And these look nice and tender. And so to this we're going to be adding flour until we get a paste, a smooth, thick paste like cream of wheat. You don't want it runny and you don't want it dry. That's the big mistake of putting in too much flour and having a dry roux, because that's going to give you lumps in your soup or in your gravies. You want that this roux to be more of a thick paste. So you still want it to be smooth. You don't want it dry at all. And that looks just about right. So then to this, I'm going to add hot water. And this here is a 2-cup jar. I'm just going to start out with just half of that. About a cup of water for now. You can always add more to thin it out. You can't put it back in, you know what I'm saying? And this thickens up right away. Just look at the split. Whoa. So then I can judge to see how much more I need. Because I don't want all water flavor. Because I'm going to use half and half to make the cream. So I just want to add the water. I probably got about a cup of water in here. And that's nice and thick, but it's starting to get smoother, which is what we want. This is like almost thinner style, almost like mashed potatoes. So you want that thin. Now we're going to add more liquid, but we want to add the half and half to this. And we'll probably put in like about a cup for right now. And we'll take and just whisk this in, stir this in, and get that roux all dissolved that's in here, nice and thick. And you want to bring this back to a boil too. You don't want to overcook it, and you don't want to scorch it, so you want to be careful and watch it and stir it constantly. I got a thick, heavy-duty container here, kettle, so it's not going to burn it that bad. You just don't want to do it like in aluminum ones, because those are going to burn and scorch your soup real easily. I just love these kettles that my roommate has. It's like I make my candies and soups and everything, and it doesn't even burn the stuff. It's wonderful. They're nice and thick and heavy. And that's almost to a boil. Because we still want this, remember, on a little bit of the thicker side, because when we add the juice from the oysters, that's going to thin it out. So you don't want your soup now to be perfect. You want it to be a slightly thicker. Like I said, we can always thin it out. You just can't make it thicker. And if you did get too thin, well, then you have to start all over. You can't take and just add more flour, because then you're going to get lumps. So always, add slowly to it. That smells good, Callie, always. Turn it up just a little bit. If you turn it up higher, you just want to make sure that you're stirring constantly. You just don't want to scorch it. And then that comes back to a boil. You can put in your can of oysters with the juice. Oh, the smell. It just reminds me of when I was a kid. Oh. It's not like ludicrous, but it does permeate the air. I don't know why, but it's the men that really love this soup. I know a lot of older gentlemen that just love this soup. I'd make it once in a while at restaurants and stuff around the holidays, and the older people that would come in just gobbled it up. They just loved it. Not so much for the younger generation, but the older generations, they just love this kind of stuff because it's a tradition. But it's something you can share with your family and your kids too, pass on the traditions of what they do every year. My sister now, she takes, and Christmas Eve for her family, they have pizza. They order out for pizza. They do that every Christmas. They've been doing that for Christmas Eve now, God, I don't know, for almost over 20 years now. And that's what their tradition is. So it's always fun to, do your own tradition and just continue it and do it every year. And that makes, the holiday season festive and fun and full of memories. And now I'm going to take and just put a dab. I don't want a lot, because this is the oyster flavor. I want to put a little bit of chicken base in there, just a titch. Yeah, I need just a titch of the base in there. I don't want a lot, because I don't want it overpowering taste. I'm going to put in like about a teaspoon. For now, you can always add more. And this is boiling, so I want to turn this back down, so we don't need it to set up anymore. And this is still on a little bit of thicker, so I'm going to add a little bit more, half and half, just to thin that out a bit. I just added about another 1/4 cup. And that's the right consistency. Oh yeah, that base makes a huge difference. Because then you don't get that floury taste to it, you know? So if you have a little base in there, just a teaspoon, I don't put a lot in. And it needs a little pepper. I put about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. You know, that's your own preference, how if you want more or less. We just need a little salt and pepper, and you don't need to put salt in because your base, remember, is pure salt. So that covers the salt content for this. That's it, Callie. That's the soup. And those oysters are fully cooked when they come in the can, so you just need to heat up. That's it, the soup's all done. Then I'll just take and clean up my mess here and get the plate and the nice presentation for our Swedish Christmas dinner. Christmas Eve dinner. Have a Callie Christmas, it's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a Callie Christmas, and in case you didn't hear, oh by golly, have a Callie Christmas this year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and of course this is Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog. We're here to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for a wonderful year and watching our show. We've enjoyed it so much, and we've gotten so many cards and letters from you and lots of emails. If you have any ideas for us in the future for other shows, and remember, we love to wear costumes, we'll take any and all ideas into consideration. So just write us at the Northwoods Cooking Show at yahoo.com, and we'll put those in the Callie's little jar. So from Callie and I, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye-bye. Okay, now this is our Swedish potato sausage with the wonderful dumplings and sauerkraut. That looks good, Callie. And then this is our oyster stew. And you see the nice consistency I got here? It's thick, but still nice and moist, or thin enough to have a soup. It's like a chowder. And again, don't forget to put on those little oyster crackers. That's what makes the dish more traditional. You gotta have the little oyster crackers to go on top. And this is our lovely Swedish Christmas Eve dinner. Don't that look good, Callie? Yeah. Well, Callie, what'd you think of that? Oh, she's still waiting for samples. Look at her. Just begging. She even brought up her birdie toy. She hasn't played with that one in a long time. She always brings a toy when she wants to eat. Yeah, trade her toy for food. Yeah, don't you? Santa's hoping. Yeah. Well, this is a question and answer period here on the Northwoods Cooking Show. So if you have any questions for us on canning or cooking or baking, etc., even gardening tips, because we do that in the summer, feel free to write us at the Northwoods Cooking Show at yahoo.com, and we'll try to answer your questions the best we possibly can. And if you put it in the mailbox in Callie's treat jar, she'll get her treat when we answer the mail. Yeah. Let's see who wrote us this week, Callie. Oh, there's a tweet. Yes, I'm pretty for this one. A doggy tweet. What are you going way in the back there for? What are you going way back there for? Oh! Sit up. Come on, sit pretty. Come here. Get over here. Sit pretty. There you go. Oh, yeah. Punch. Dear Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, I was wondering if you have any recipes for any Christmas holiday drinks. Signed, Jack of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Well, yes, Jack. Oh, traditionally once, my family, we make Tom and Jerry's. And you can buy the Tom and Jerry batter mix at the stores now too, and they even got the hot buttered rum ones too. But our traditional Tom and Jerry's, God, I haven't had those since I was a kid. Well, since I was young anyway, because I don't drink anymore. But oh, we used to make that batter. Mom make it every year, and she used to attend bar too, in our country bar up there in Gordon, Wisconsin, the Moose River Bar. We're out in the sticks, you know, the Moose River. And she'd make up, oh gosh, I don't know, about 5 or 6 batches of it a night. It would just, everybody would just gobble those down. They were just wonderful. But what you do is just take your large coffee mug, like about this size of your soup cup here, and they put in a shot of brandy and a shot of rum, and then you fill it with hot water. And then you put your batter on top and you sprinkle a little cinnamon or nutmeg on top. Well, the batter is what makes the Tom and Jerry. And it's a wonderful batter, and it's so easy to make. You can do it half, or you can make the full recipe. Full recipe is with a dozen eggs, so or you half, you just do 6 eggs. But what you do is you just take your eggs and you separate the whites from the yolks. And you beat the yolks up until it's really thick and like almost lemony in color, light yellow and really thick, and so it almost spins off the spoon like a ribbon almost. It's really thick. Then you take your whites and you beat those up separately until they're nice and stiff. Then you take the two and you blend together. Now let me see now. Take that back. Before you blend them together, you whip up. So you got the egg yolks and the egg whites both whipped up stiff. The egg yolks don't get stiff, they get really thick. And you add powdered sugar to both of them instead of white sugar, so that you're making like a meringue with the whites, and then the yolks, you're adding the powdered sugar, and that gets really thick until it's almost ribbony, where it's not, you know, soupy. You want like a thick runny off the spoon. Then you take the whites and you put into the yolks and you gently fold and mix those together. And then that's your batter. That's all there is to it. And it is a wonderful, wonderful batter. It's really, really good. And only lasts for about 3 days in the refrigerator. So you want to make either a large batch or a small batch. You know, it depends upon if you're having a party or not. Hope that answers your questions. Tom and Jerry's, you can't go wrong. Oh, they're wonderful. God, those were good. I love that batter. Anyway, so from Santa's helper, you know, piece of dumpling. Yeah, dumpling. We want to say, eat healthy, isn't it? Be safe, spread the sunshine, and Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year. Bye-bye. Kiss. Yeah.